Coming up, I'll tell you about my recent trip to New York City to spend the afternoon with Jane. We had lunch and dinner, saw the tree at Rockefeller Center, but most importantly, besides freezing our butts off, most importantly, we went to Meta Lab so I can test the Ray-Ban Meta displays. Stick with me.
From Studio B in Swarthmore, this is iCantCU. Now, here's David.
Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of iCantCU, your window into a world where blindness doesn't dictate ability. My name is David, at David Benj on all the socials. I really do appreciate you joining me for this episode, and welcome inside Studio B. I know it's been a minute, but we're going to talk about going to New York. It was an afternoon after a snowstorm. I'll tell you all about my trip to New York City and what Jane and I did, but I want to jump right into the Meta Labs visit. I was really interested in learning more about the Ray-Ban Meta display glasses. There you are, the glasses that just came out recently. In the right eye, they have a display. But of course, if you can't see, you can't see that display. So what use would they have for the blind community? They come with a screen reader that's built in, and there are some pluses and minuses. The fact that it has a screen reader that we could use is outstanding. Jane captured this video of me with the Ray-Ban Meta display demo. Here's how it went. And I do apologize about the audio. The audio was a little rough because it was a busy place. I cleaned it up, but there are some things that sometimes are a little hard to hear. Check it out.
Yeah, so that's an accessible setting, which I won't be able to do in the demo version, because otherwise you'll mess up the whole device. No, I'm sorry, did you get that? Mess up the whole device when you use the screen reader? That's the whole reason I'm here, to get the demo, because I don't believe, just like with my phone, with VoiceOver, I don't believe that using a screen reader will work 100% of the time. And that is the main reason to get a start. It will work 100% of the time. The only thing is, this is a demo device connected to a demo phone. If I change the setting, then I'll do a different, it's a different software, different. Yeah, I won't be able to see it all. That's I won't be able to see it. So why don't we just, we'll just leave it going. So let somebody else. So what I can do is, we can tutorial the band. I can help you through stuff, and I'll see if I can, how much I can do, how much of this screen, this stuff we can do. Okay, yeah, because I want to see the screen. Sure. I just look, see what options we have. Okay. Let's see what. Okay. Right. Let's go on the mask. Okay. Just lift up your jacket and let me know if it's too tight. It needs to be snug, but not too tight. How's this? Yeah, it's good. Perfect. So, screen reader. Let's see how this works. Okay. We'll learn together. Yes. All right. So just wait a minute. I'm just connecting a band and glasses right now. So do me a favor, pinch your middle finger and thumb. Middle finger, thumb. And leave it. Release it. Wait. Now, do you hear something? I hear nothing. So make a loose fist, thumb onto your index finger. Swipe up, down, left or right. Swipe down. You hear it? Nothing. So just wait a second. Use your two fingers. Let me help you with that. Just wait a minute. Now swipe right. With the thumb. Yes. Thumb onto your index finger. Swipe right. Like that. Oh, I heard it. Okay. Perfect. Page 2 or 3. Swipe right. Once more right. What is it saying? Page 2. Ask Meta AI. Perfect. Swipe right. Swipe down. What happens? So as you can see, he's scrolling menus and he's speaking to it. That's the screen reader. Okay. Swipe right. Right. Ends the battery then 83%. Right again. Connect the device connected. Right again. Swipe down. Down. Down again. Up. Swipe right. Now pinch your middle finger and thumb. Once, don't hold it, just one pinch. Okay. Perfect.
Ask Meta AI.
Once more. Now pinch your first finger and thumb. Pinch one more. Swipe right. Right again. Swipe left. Then you go to page 3.
No, it's never going to paste. It always goes to Ask Meta AI.
Swipe left.
Left.
Right. Takes 2, 3. Swipe down.
Captions.
And this is the page 1. I need to go to page 3. That's what I'm looking for. Swipe left again. Once more left. I think it's going somewhere. Left. Music. Okay, that's volume, brightness. So right now you're on page 1. We have a few different options. It's giving you that. Okay. Is there anything specific you want to check out first?
So I was really interested in hearing the screen reader, and so if I am out and about and I want to know, I know that it can pull up math information. It's probably not accessible because most maps are not. But what would that sound?
So you just have to say, "Hey Meta, navigate to, let's say, Times Square."
Okay. Hey Meta, navigate to Times Square.
It's loading right now. Wait, it pulls up Times Square.
Which one? There's more than one.
So yeah, if you
I guess there's different whatever.
So just select it. Index finger and thumb pinch. Index finger, thumb pinch.
Oh, I felt it in my wrist.
Yes. It has happened. This one. Select again. Selecting it. So that's the issue with screen reader. The controls are a little different. Select. Now swipe. Swipe right. Yeah, I've done that. So basically, what you did was, when you say, "Hey Meta, navigate to Times Square," it gave you Times Square. You have to select it and start navigation.
Okay.
So I was trying to do that, but the gestures and the function are a little different when you have the screen reader.
Okay. If I have that on, if I'm using that, will it tell me as I'm walking about? I don't have to keep doing, like if I say I want to go to something at Times Square, whatever, at Times Square, and I select it, will it then tell me, okay, here's when we're ready to go, and it'll tell me as I'm walking, and will it track that?
Yes.
So that it'll say turn left here, go straight here, whatever it might be.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. Okay. Yeah, that was my big thing because that's one of the things that, again, my community wants to, do without stopping and listening to their phone or whatever the case.
Also, it has Be My Eyes with it.
Right.
So that will help as well.
Right. Okay.
Another thing about the only thing I'm struggling with right now is when we have the screen reader on.
Yeah.
The functions, the gestures are a little different.
Right.
So the selection is basically when you click your index finger and thumb, that's how you select.
Okay.
Which is not happening right now. So the function is a little different.
Okay.
So that's what I'm not aware of right now.
Okay.
But everything is, it's said that it works perfectly.
Yeah. No, I thought that was very cool. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Anything else?
No, good.
Anything?
Someone else. I know I'm excited for it because I didn't think it would work that well.
I mean, it works perfectly. It's just that I'm not aware of.
Right. No, and I get it. And it's just like, it's just like with an iPhone. You might just tap on something to make it work. I have to double tap on something or whatever the case may be. I have a rotor, which is impossible for me with my hands to do. But you don't. I say rotor to people. What do you mean? So, but people who are sighted don't need to use a rotor. So. But no, I appreciate it.
Just another thing I will let you know. Without using the band, you can just say, "Hey Meta," and ask for it. Like, "Hey Meta, take a picture."
Okay, like I do with, I have a regular pair. I have the
exactly this the other thing.
Yeah.
You can say, "Hey Meta, what am I looking at?" Yeah, we will do that as well.
Okay.
And there are the features that these have that the other ones don't have are like maps.
Okay.
And also caption and translation.
Okay, right. The translations I was also interested in.
Yeah,
and
that will work great as well.
Okay. And so if I wanted to hear a translation of something, I would just say, "Hey Meta, translate."
So, "Hey Meta," so for translation, "Hey Meta, start live translation."
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And then right now we only support 6 languages: Spanish, Italian, French, German, Portuguese, English. So among only these languages, but with time they will add more languages in the product.
Okay. Oh, very cool. No, I appreciate your time and
I don't want to take up more time, so somebody else who might want to get jump on. Problem, go. So that's that. Thank you. Any other question? No, I appreciate it again. And now after this, I'm going to look up screen to listen to it. And next time if someone comes out, I'm going to be able to help them perfect. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Okay.
So as you could see in that video, or hear in that video if you're listening on the podcast, there are some great features on the Ray-Ban Meta displays. One of the biggest issues, though, especially when you're using the screen reader on the glasses, the gestures are different, just like with the iPhone. If you are sighted and you're not using VoiceOver on the iPhone, you only have to tap once. You don't have to double tap. There are other things, other gestures that are obviously different when you use VoiceOver than when you don't have VoiceOver turned on your iPhone. It's very similar to the Ray-Ban Meta displays. And of course, the person who was helping me didn't know all the gestures. And why would he? Because I'm sure 99% of the folks that come in there aren't asking, hey, I want to check out the Ray-Ban Meta displays. Oh, and by the way, I can't see, so I've got to use the screen reader. We were using a demo phone that didn't have accessibility turned on. We were using demo glasses that did have the screen reader turned on. So that was why we were getting some questionable issues with the glasses themselves. One of the other issues I'm going to have, and I am going to get a pair so I can tell you more about them, but you wear this band, as you saw in the video, they put this band on your arm, and you kind of make a soft fist, which is difficult for me to do to begin with, but that's another story and not, not blindness related. You make a fist, and basically your gestures are moving your thumb kind of along your index finger in this soft fist. You swipe left, you swipe right, you swipe down, you swipe up. And that is all translated by the bracelet that you saw. That captures all that, but we couldn't get to actually make a selection because the gesture was different. He didn't know how to do it. I certainly didn't know how to do it. But when I get a pair, I'll be able to figure it out, I'm sure, unless it doesn't work at all. So we'll see how that goes. But I will grab a pair and we'll go on the journey together. I've got a few journeys coming up, and I'll tell you more about that later. But the fact that this guy spent the time with me, as you could hear, there was a 20 to 30 minute wait. We probably waited about half an hour. Now, one of the things that kind of turned me off, and the fact that somebody actually sat down with me, I kind of almost felt at times they were just hoping I would leave because we were waiting longer than some of the other folks there. And I don't know if they were scrambling to check out some of the gestures. I don't know what the story was. But when we initially went up there, and it's on the second or third level, I don't remember which, I would ask the question and then they would look to Jane told me. So they weren't even talking directly to me at times. They were asking her questions about me. And that is one thing that has always bothered me, and it bothers everybody in our community, that people will not address me or the blind person. I told you once we were out to dinner with friends and I was sitting right next to my friend and my friend said to Liz, would David like such and such? And I said, yeah, I think that sounds good. Why don't we get it as an appetizer? And he said, oh, okay. So I'm capable of making decisions. Blind people are capable of making decisions. And that was something. Now, it happened again recently, but it didn't have anything to do with not being able to see. It was just completely out of the box for that one. But that's for another episode. So the Ray-Ban Meta displays, which is the one thing I'm really excited for, and the one issue I always have when I'm out and about, is trying to use my phone to navigate. I've either got to use the navigation on the phone and then either have AirPods or earbuds in or something, which I don't like to do because when you have stuff in your ears, you can't hear your surroundings, and I can't stand that. That makes me nervous. That makes me fear of somebody videoing my shoe in the middle of the street after I've been hit by a car, truck, or bus. And I don't know why they always do that and why that is the key topic on the news. When somebody gets hit, when there's a hit and run, when somebody gets struck in the crosswalk, what do you see? They show a shoe. I don't want that to happen. That's why I don't wear AirPods or earbuds when I'm out and about walking. So the one cool thing with the Meta Ray-Bans, any of them, are the speakers are in the stem, so you're not covering your ear. It does take away, though, from, as I've mentioned before, from surrounding sounds, because if you're concentrating on what you're hearing through the glasses, you may not hear somebody coming up or asking you a question or whatever the case may be. So that is something that you kind of have to juggle. But it is better when it's not stuck in your ears. It's at least allowing the outside world to get into your ears so you can hear what's going on, whether you're hearing footsteps. I love to follow somebody who is walking at a good pace, and if they've got a hard shoe on so I could hear them, I just try to get behind them and just keep going. I've told the story a million times of being up in New York a few years ago and following a woman who I followed probably for 3 or 4 blocks, and a couple of the blocks were the long blocks, because she was moving at a good pace and I could hear her. We were weaving through a lot of people on the sidewalk, but I stayed right behind her. It was awesome until she was heading south and I still had to head east. Then I had to find somebody else, and I don't remember if I ever did. But that's important when we're out and about. And we had a judge on White Canes Connect that talked about the same thing. He would follow people listening to their footsteps. So again, when you have earbuds in or AirPods in, you can't hear that necessarily. So that's one thing. And we did not leave Meta Labs to test these out. So all that navigation stuff is going to have to wait until I actually get a pair. Another thing that we talked about, besides the different gestures, where for somebody who is sighted not using the screen reader, it's going to be a different gesture than when you use the screen reader. There's also live translation, and I'm excited to try that. And I'll try that. That's easy enough to try right here at home just by putting on a Spanish language radio station on the A-Lady or a podcast or whatever and see how it does. Or maybe just getting an Uber somewhere. But it's right now they only support 6 languages: English, Spanish, French, German, Italian, and Portuguese. So it's something that, not necessarily will your Uber or Lyft driver speak one of those languages. Might, but you never know. But I'm interested in trying that. And I haven't tried it yet on the Meta Ray-Bans that I have. So that's something that I can try as well. So as you saw in the video, as he said, just like I was talking to my friend Brian today, and we kind of surmise that voiceover affects certain things on the iPhone unintentionally. But it sometimes will mess with Bluetooth or something else or different functions of different apps. And it's probably going to be similar with the Ray-Ban Meta displays. And as you saw when the guy first sat down, he said it messes it up. And there's no doubt. And that's the struggle that we face. And sometimes when something gets updated, it makes it even worse. The clip was edited because there was some downtime where he was trying to figure something out or punching something in on the phone or asking me a question that really played no part of how the glasses worked. And I cut that out for time. But for the most part, you saw everything that we went through there. And I was very skeptical about the screen reader. And I was actually excited for it after I left. When Jane and I left there, and again, we spent probably 45 minutes to an hour because, like I said, we waited quite a while to get the demo going. But I don't know if I'll go back there to check them out again, or if I'm just going to go and purchase them. The cool thing is when you check in and you give your information, you give your email address. They then sent me an email saying, okay, you put the wrist device on level 3 tightness because you want it, as you heard in the video, you want it to be secure but not super tight. So my level was 3. I don't know. I don't know if if there's something printed on there that you have to see, or if there's a way to feel. I mean, basically, if I put it on too tight, my hand goes numb. I mean, my hand goes numb all the time. So that in itself is going to be an issue. But you put that on. I know it's number 3. They told me I wear the regular pair of the glasses. So I'm really excited to get those and put them through their paces as I'm out and about, whether I'm in Philadelphia or if I go back to New York or Washington for Washington seminar in a couple of months. I'm going to Vegas at the end of February, maybe there. Whatever the case may be, I'm excited to try them out. And again, they're not cheap. They're about $800. So I'll let you know once I get them. I'm sure I'll make many videos on how to use them. I haven't been able to, I mentioned before, I got a microphone, I got a clip-on mic that I want to use so you can hear when I ask it to read the newspaper, as several folks have asked me to do, and I do want to do a video, but I just haven't been able to get it to pick up the audio good enough to hear what's going on. And after cleaning up that audio, because the audio from that video I just showed you when we were at Meta Labs was so hard to hear, both me and the guy from Meta, that I thought, oh, this is going to be unusable. But I put it through a service called Alphonic, and that cleaned it up enough where you could hear it and you could hear the guy speaking to me. But that made me excited. And again, the rest of the day, the time we were there, it was a really, really cold day. It had snowed the day before. And I was worried, as I've mentioned before, if you are a cane user, to sweep when there is snow on the ground, it makes it really, really tough because it sounds different. You might miss different cracks, or in New York, there's planters that maybe have a little lip on them, maybe almost like a curb around them that's 6 inches to 12 inches high. So if you miss that because there's snow in front of it, it could hurt your it could hurt your shins. So I was worried about that. I had planned to go. Let me back up. Jane had texted me. She said, hey, I'm taking off on the 15th of December. Why don't you come up and we can go and do maybe we'll go to Bryant Park and see the Winterfest, and we can go to the tree and so forth and so on. And I'm like, oh, that's great. I'll come and visit. And then I realized, wait a second, I have something else that day. And then that got pushed to Tuesday, the 16th, and I texted her back. I said, are you still off? And she said, yes. So I made the train ticket reservations, and they aren't cheap at this time of year because evidently a lot of people like to go to New York to see the tree and and all that stuff. But if you have a look over at Instagram, I did post a couple of pictures, and a short video when I was at 30th Street Station in Philadelphia. They had a Christmas tree and a Hanukkah menorah next to one another, and it was after you're supposed to light the first night. It was the 14th, and again, I'm traveling on the 15th, so one candle should have been lit for night 1, plus the main candle called the shamus. Also, so technically 2 candles should have been lit. There was nothing lit on it. So I don't know if it didn't work. I don't know what the story was. But check out some stuff that I have up on Instagram if you're interested in seeing those. And I'll have those as I'm speaking now over one of my shoulders. And you'll see some images. And I do have some other videos of traveling around the city with the Ray-Ban, the regular Ray-Ban Metas on, and some footage there. I don't have the sound. There'll be no sound because sometimes Jane and I are talking about navigating and whatnot. But you'll see that my train, because of the weather, both the snow the day before and how cold it was. This was a day where I don't remember what the high was supposed to be. I don't think it was supposed to hit 30, but the wind chills were in the teens the entire day. I got out gloves to take with me. I ended up leaving them on my bed because I had forgotten where I put them down, and they were dark, and our bed covering was dark, so I never took them downstairs. So my hands were cold. I ended up buying a pair of gloves. That was probably I could make another video for that place. Uniqlo, it's called. And we did a self-checkout that was 100% inaccessible. It didn't even beep when you pushed on the touch screen. So impossible for somebody who is blind or visually low vision to operate those. So you would have to wait to get a person check you out. But the gloves are warm, and they were only about $25. So that part was good. I bought a hat at the North Face, which was also very warm. Very happy to to have that hat because I had another hat with me. Around here, I wear a Flyers hat. I didn't want to walk around New York City with a Flyers hat on. I was afraid what might happen. So I had this other beanie that was also orange, but it didn't cover my ears all the way. It wasn't warm. The hat that I got from the North Face, while making my head look like a giant tennis ball because it's action green, it was very warm, and I love it. I absolutely love it. That was more expensive. I want to say that was maybe $20 more. I don't remember what the price was. But we ended up going there. We first had lunch because of the weather, backtracking to the weather, my train was about an hour late. Not only was it an hour late, but after we got on, not all the doors opened, and I thought it was kind of weird. Not all the doors opened on all the cars when it pulled into the station in Philadelphia. And I didn't think much of it until I was on the train, and this is a train that goes from Harrisburg to New York and then New York to Harrisburg and so forth and so on. There's around 10 or 15 trains a day that do that. And one of those trains ends up going, they're called Keystone Service, and there's one that is called the Pennsylvanian or whatever that leaves in the middle of the day from Philadelphia that goes from New York to Pittsburgh. But the Keystone trains, again, 10 or 15 per day. Mine was about an hour late. The next one was also delayed, but not by an hour. So after we're on the train, they're talking about the doors. And when you go to the stops in between Philadelphia and New York, go to where you see a conductor because not all the doors open. Not because they don't open them because they don't want to let more cold air in. They were frozen shut. And when we got to New York, he said, I don't know what side the platform is going to be on. And if it's on the opposite side that we've been using all the way up here, I have no idea what's going to open. And sure enough, when we got to New York, I was very close to one door that would have been in front of me. We had to go to the doors at the other end of the car to get off because both doors in front were frozen. And they were not the same doors that we had been using all the way up. So we didn't know until we got into the city and they tried to open them. So it was a really cold day. So Jane and I didn't know what we were going to eat for lunch because we didn't want a lot. And she found a sushi and steak place right in Penn Center, not literally in the train station, but you leave the train station, and just like in Philadelphia and other places, you can walk underground to the different high-rise office buildings, and one Penn Center has this place called Blue Ribbon. I think it's called Blue Ribbon Steak and Sushi. It was really good. It was pretty expensive, so just get ready for for sticker shock, both for the sushi that we got, and it was good though because we didn't have to walk outside to get to it. Again, it was cold, and most of the sidewalks in New York, and I don't think New York got as much snow as us. Most of the sidewalks were pretty clear, so I don't think we had an issue with the snow, other than maybe when we were stepping off a curb, maybe there was a little bit of black ice or a puddle if it was melted, if there was enough ice meltdown. But I don't think either of us ever slipped or, skidded with the snow or ice. But we had lunch, and then we started walking. We went over to Fifth Avenue, and we're walking down Fifth Ave, and we checked out the tree. We checked out some other things along the way. Jane had a return to make. She did that. Again, we went to the North Face, and we went to this Uniqlo. And as you can see, we passed by St. Patrick's, so I've got a couple of shots there. All of the pictures and videos that I have that are vertical were all done with the Ray-Ban Meta glasses. So the pictures that you see of St. Patrick's, where I basically just looked up into the sky and just got the facade Ray-Ban Metas. I'll tell you a funny story about that in a minute. the video that Jane shot with the guy at Meta was, and I never got his name, and I apologize that I didn't get that, because I don't like to say that guy from Meta, but he was that guy from Meta, so that's how it went. That video was shot on Jane's phone. She has the same phone as I do, maybe some more storage, which I guess is a 16 Pro, I think is what we both have. She has more storage than I, and she used her phone because we didn't have to mess with voiceover and so forth and so on. After we finished up at Meta, we had gone to the tree in the afternoon, as you could see by some of the pictures, but we wanted to see it at night. And we had to kind of walk that way to go. We decided we were going to go to Junior's for dinner. And in a weird reversal, lunch was almost double what dinner was. And I'll explain that in a minute. As we were walking from Meta back down Fifth to the tree, it was a little too early to eat dinner. And we went to the tree, we took some pictures, and much nicer at night than during the day. Also, a lot more people there. But we walked to, and we were walking past it, FAO Schwartz is right there, right at the base of the tree, as you're looking at the pictures that I've been putting up, almost right to the left side of where we were earlier in the day. And Jane said, "Oh, let's go in there. We have some time. Let's go in. Can we go in?" I said, "Sure." And then we saw where the door was, and we walked down the block, and we kept walking and walking and walking. And there is this line that was most of the block just to get into the store. Again, 10 days before Christmas, so forth and so on. The line moved pretty quickly. I think it took us around 20 to 25 minutes. And because we were kind of sheltered by the building, until we made the last turn to get into the doors, it was pretty, I don't want to say warm, but the wind, we were shielded from the wind until we made the turn where the tree was, where we could still now see the tree again, but we could also feel the wind and the wind chills. We went in there and had to walk around there, and Jane wanted to get a few things. We ended up getting Liz a mug. Jane wanted to get her a mug, a Snoopy mug. Liz loves Snoopy, and so we got her this Snoopy mug. She has one. She may have one for every month. I know she has one for Christmas. Now she has one for winter. She has one for Valentine's Day. I don't know if she has a St. Patrick's Day one. I don't know what she uses for that. I know she has one for spring. She has, again, at least half a dozen, probably more. And now there'll be one more. I don't know if Jane gave it to her yet, or if that's a Christmas gift for her. Jane wanted a plush Grinch, and then she decided not to because they have a Build-A-Bear in there as well. She ended up getting a little plush Snoopy that has a scarf on that was pretty cute. Again, for us, I know she'll probably put it on her desk or somewhere in her apartment that'll be visible when she's on Zoom calls and whatnot. But she got those things in the mugs. And we probably spent, all told, between waiting and then waiting in line to check out and walking around the store a little bit, probably 45 minutes to an hour total for the whole thing. And then by the time we were done there, we were warm enough because we were inside for, again, 20 minutes to a half an hour to walk from there. It was only a couple blocks to walk up to Junior's. We didn't go, this was my first time at the Junior's on 49th and Broadway. We usually go to the one that's on, I think it's 42nd Street. And it's right across from the Marriott Marquis and right in the heart of Times Square. This was not, I mean, it might be considered the Times Square area, but this one was not in as busy a place. So when we walked in, we waited maybe, I don't think we waited 5 minutes to get a table. And we shared stuff. So again, like I said, it was about half price. So it worked out well. And then we ended up jumping on the subway and going down to Penn Station. Jane waited with me a little bit to jump on the train to come home. I didn't have an issue getting a ride share to come back home once I got to 30th Street, as I did a couple of months ago when I was in New York, and I got in at 1 a.m. and it took me 50 to 55 minutes to get a ride share after 3 drivers canceled, and then the 4th one picked me up. So I didn't have an issue there. Train got in a little bit earlier. It was, I want to say, 10:30, and I think I was home by 11:15. So it was a nice afternoon. I got to spend with Jane. It wasn't, other than being cold, it wasn't difficult to navigate through. And again, it's easy when you have somebody that is helping guide and get you through the crowds of people. And there were crowds of people. And she says, this is why I never come to Times Square, because it's always crowded, especially during the holiday season where there's everybody and their brother coming in from out of town, plus the locals going to Times Square, and everything's packed. But it was a fun day. I really had a fun day. And I love going up there as as I'm sure you know, because I do it often. And it was just a lot of fun. And I was glad I did it. And again, the Meta Ray-Ban displays, I will get, as maybe I can catch, I doubt there'll be any kind of breaks on them, especially after Christmas, but maybe I can get a deal or something on them. But I will get them, and then I'll start doing some videos on those just to show you, hey, here's how they work, or here's how they don't work and they suck and I just wasted $800. But we will talk about those in future videos. A couple of other things I have coming up. I recently got a call from my BBVS counselor. The Bureau of Blindness and Visual Services is the state organization that does all sorts of assistance for blind and low vision folks. One of the things that they do, and I've talked about this before, is the Business Enterprise Program. I was asked if I was still interested. I told them I was. And so we started the ball rolling. I've recently had a conversation with Wes, who is, if you go back a few episodes, you'll see what he called me in another meeting, not to my face. And this meeting was very pleasant. The meeting he was on, another person from the state side, on the BEP side, was on, as well as my counselor, Victoria. So I will be documenting that as I move forward and all the things that I have to do. The one thing that I was kind of bummed out about, some of the stuff that I'm required to do before it even starts, I could have already been doing. And that was NFBF PA President Lynn Heitz's point at a couple of OVR meetings and park meetings, where why not get that stuff out of the way so that when the BEP opens up in Pennsylvania, you don't have to do that, because this is weeks of non-BEP stuff that I will be going through, going to the doctor and getting a background check and doing all that sort of stuff. Again, stuff that could have already started, so that once the program is up and running, you kind of hit the ground running with that, and you don't have as long. It will probably take a year for me to go through the program and then get a location. And I wanted to go through the motions so I can document, here's what you go through, here's what you have to do. Hopefully, my skills are good enough to not require additional training, whether it's using computers. And it would be embarrassing, wouldn't it, if I had to do something to get that requirement in. Same thing with mobility, getting from point A to point B. I'm pretty clear that I've navigated from Philadelphia to New York, Philadelphia to Harrisburg, Philadelphia to Hershey, Washington, Baltimore, pick a city, Pittsburgh. I've been in Orlando, New Orleans. Where else did we go? One more place. Orlando, New Orleans, Houston. So I've gotten there and home. So I kind of think I have that, but who knows what they're going to require, and I don't know how difficult it'll be. The other thing is, they asked me about business, and hey, this is how businesses work. Again, I opened my first business, a West Coast video franchise. Again, not counting the lemonade stands when I was a kid. Opened my first business when I was 21 years old, West Coast video franchise. Had that for 13 years. Have operated digital graphics design since 2004, 2004, I think, 2004. Yes, 2004, because we just had our 20th anniversary. Again, not that there's much going on with it now, but it is something that, especially in the early years, we did that full time, and I don't do it full time now. Had salon supplies and interiors. So I have have the business background, not counting the summers I spent in my dad's markets when I was a kid. So we'll see how it all goes. I'll let you know how it goes. They will be BEP specific episodes. And I don't know that they'll draw as much as when I do a Ray-Ban Meta video, because they always draw. It's incredible the amount of views I get compared to a podcast, just a plain old podcast video. So we'll see how that goes. I will let you know. I do appreciate you joining me for this episode of iCantCU. Please connect with me over on the socials at David Benj, DavidBenj. Benjamin is my middle name. LinkedIn, X, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. There's some more that I'm sure I'm forgetting, but connect with me there, and I would be happy to see what you've got going on your Instagram. And Instagram I love to post on there, but it is very difficult to do the accessibility as I've mentioned. And I struggle with it, and I'd post a lot more if it were a little easier. It is not easy. So we'll see how it goes as we move forward there. But I've posted a couple of videos lately and a couple of images. And so check those out. If you've got questions, comments, show ideas, whatever you have, please reach out to me. iCantCUpodcast@gmail.com, iCantCUpodcast@gmail.com. Better yet, if you have something to say, have some comments, I'd love to hear from you. 646-926-6350. You've got up to 3 minutes. Please leave your name and town when you do call in, and then the rest of it can be your question or your comment on what I'm speaking about here. But again, I really do appreciate you joining me. Show notes over on the website, iCantCU.com/293, iCantCU.com/293, numerically speaking. Thanks again for joining me. Be well, stay safe, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Take care.
Thank you for joining David on this episode of iCantCU. Please subscribe on your favorite platform. Like and comment on this episode on YouTube.